Hello everyone and welcome to the series of Java tutorials. These tutorials are especially designed for manual testers or for a person having no prior experience in programming and wants to switch to automation testing using Selenium, right? So since Selenium supports many programming languages, out of which most widely supported language is Java. So we'll be talking about Java in the initial series, right? Which will not only help you in Selenium automation, but will also build your basic programming concepts. All right. So for learning Java, I have created a very good about of like PDF notes, right? Which will really going to help you a lot. Let's say you might be needing some study material, right? So these PDF notes will be provided to you along with the Java tutorial, right? So we'll first start with the introduction to Java, like what exactly is Java, and I mean how it comes from. So Java is basically a high level platform independent programming language which works on the principle of object orientation. So the terms that you see over here, high level, platform independent, object orientation, right? These terms have a very wide meaning associated to it, right? So what is high level, what is platform independent, what is object orientation, right? We need to understand these things before we start working on Java, right? So if you talk about Java, then very first thing we'll talk about high level languages, right? So earlier like you might be aware of the generation of languages, right? Java is basically a third generation language. So higher the language is, lower the complexity, right? So the initial generation, it came up with machine language, right, which was the first generation. Then assembly language, second generation came, and then high level languages like Java, C, C++, right? These are basically third generation languages, right? And it's less complex as compared to the previous generation languages, right? So for example, if we say in a high level language, if I need to store 23 in some location in a RAM, right? So I can just simply say location equal to 23, right? Whereas if we worked on, if you ever worked on assembly language or a machine language, then this is how you're gonna store 23, right? Which is very like difficult for a layman to understand, right? Now, the next thing we talk about platform independent. So everyone knows that Java is platform independent. Now, what does that mean? Platform independent means that Java supports almost every operating system in this world, right? So there are more than 3 billion devices that runs on Java, right? So it supports like Android, iPhone, Mac, iOS devices, Android devices, Windows, right? Solaris, Linux. So, like it mostly all the operating system in the world, they support Java. So it basically works on the principle of write once and run everywhere, right? So this is just because of the class file that is been provided by Java. Once we compile the code of Java, it converts into the class file, and then this class file can be executed anywhere. So how all these things are done, we're gonna see it very soon, right? So our focus is not more on theoretical concepts. We most of us knows all these theoretical concepts, right? So these things are easily available on internet everywhere, right? I'm gonna focus more on the programming part, right? And I'm gonna make you work on Java so that when we start automating our scripts, automating our writing the automation code on Selenium, right? So we'll not gonna face any issues while writing code, right? So our basic concepts should be clear because these all things are what we're gonna use while writing our automation code in Selenium. So let's understand how Java works, right? So I've written up this article over here, right? You can go through this article. I'll just gonna explain you really quickly, like how Java works. Whenever you write a program and you compile that program, it changes into a dot class file, right? The code that we're gonna write it, if we save that code, it will be saved into dot Java format, right? So .java is the extension of the code that we're going to save. And when we compile that code, there is a .class file that is being generated, right? Now that class file contains the byte code. Your code is basically converted into the byte code, right? And then the interpreter comes into the picture, right? Through which the code is read line by line and it provides the instruction to the JVM. Now, JVM is basically Java virtual machine, right? So Java is divided into three parts. One is Java compiler, the second one is interpreter, and the third one is JVM, right? And then, so this image you can see we are writing a code over here, right? This has extension .java, and once I compile this code, it will gonna change into the .class extension, right? Now we'll really quickly see where we can get Java. Java is completely open source, right? So earlier it was with Sun, and now like Oracle has taken over it, right? So now Java is a part of Oracle. So we'll really quickly go to Google and type download JDK 1.7. So 1.7 is the latest version. JDK stands for Java Development Kit, right? You can see it's provided by Oracle itself. You go to this link and you'll get this JDK from here, right? Once you click on download, and here you need to accept the license, and based on your operating system, if you're working on Windows 32-bit, you need to download this. Windows 64-bit, you need to download this. For Linux, for Mac, right, all the operating systems are mentioned over here. So based on that, you need to download this JDK, that is Java Development Kit. JDK comes along with the Java compiler and JRE. So you need not to download the JRE separately. JRE stands for Java Runtime Environment. So JRE contains your Java virtual machine and the library files, right? So all these things will be downloaded once you download the JDK, right? So installation of Java is very simple. If you're downloading it for Windows, you're gonna get an exe file, and you just double click on the exe file and Java will be installed on your machine, right? Now once the Java is installed on your machine, you're gonna get a folder something like this. If you go to C drive program files, you're gonna see the Java folder over here, and inside this Java folder you'll find the JDK and JRE, right? Now I'm gonna let you know something. Before we start working on Java, we should configure some environment variables, as in we should set up something called as Java underscore home variable, right? This is really important. This we would be needing once we start working on Selenium, right? We need to have these properties configured, right? So how we will gonna do that? I've already done that. I'm gonna show you the steps, and you can follow the same steps on your machine. So you go over here on your computer, right click, go to properties, and click on advanced system settings, and then you need to go to environment variables. So here you need to create a variable Java underscore home. How you will create that? This is a system variable. Just click on new and type Java underscore home. After this, go back to the folder where your JDK is and just copy this path and paste it over here. So in my case, I have JDK 1.6. You can install the latest one, that is JDK 1.7. So once you've given this path, just press OK, right? So after this, you'll see a path variable over here. Now double click on it, and at the very end, put a semicolon, right? Don't try to mess with the values that are already there. If you remove any value anyhow, you might be damaging your existing running programs, right? So you need to be very careful while configuring these variables. So just put a semicolon at the end and write percentage java underscore home percentage slash bin, like this. This is the only thing that you need to do, and then you press on OK, right? And your Java will be successfully configured. Now, once it is configured, you can go back to the command prompt, and over here, just type java hyphen version and press enter. Now it will gonna show you the current version of Java on your machine. If you get a message something like this, Java version 1.6 or 1.7, it means that Java is successfully configured on your machine, right? Now once Java is configured, now we would be needing some editor on which we can start writing Java code, right? Earlier, people used to write Java code in Notepad and then compile it separately, right? Nowadays the programming is not done on Notepad. There are many editors available in the market, editors like Eclipse, editors like IntelliJ, right? IntelliJ is paid, Eclipse is open source. Most of the people you will find writing their Java code using Eclipse, right? So Eclipse comes with very good features, right? So where to get Eclipse? You'll again go to Google and type download Eclipse. Now this is the link for Eclipse downloads. Just click on this, and here you need to download Eclipse IDE for Java EE developers, right? This is available for Windows, Linux and Mac users, right? So you need to download based on your operating system. Let's say I'm using Windows, so I'll be downloading one of these. So my operating system is 64-bit, so I'll be downloading this. In case your operating system is 32-bit, you need to download this, right? How will you come to know that which Windows are you on? Just go to computer, right click, properties, and it will show you the 64-bit or 32-bit operating system over here, right? So based on this, you need to download Eclipse. Now once you have downloaded it, since I've already downloaded it, I've stored it inside C drive softwares, and here is my Eclipse for 64-bit. So once I extract it, this is a zip file that I'll get. Once I extract it, I'll gonna get a folder, something over here. This is my Eclipse Juno. This was the previous version. You can download the latest version, that is Kepler. Now there is nothing installable in Eclipse. Like Java, we have a setup file. Here we don't have any setup file. You cannot install Eclipse, right? You will get this exe file. Just double click on this exe file and your Eclipse will be launched. Now once Eclipse is launched, it will ask you for a workspace. Now workspace is a location where you will be maintaining your project code. Whatever Java code that you will be writing, it will be maintained at this location. So I'm going to give some workspace name as C drive Java tutorials, and this would be my workspace, and I'll give it a name as, okay, that's it, C drive Java tutorial, and I'll click on OK. Alright, so let's see how we can download and configure Java on